All right, so the extremes of intelligence. So we've looked a little bit about, we saw some of these super smart people, right? We saw, these people with these off the charts IQ, and we saw these people that seem to have these extremes of intelligence when we were talking about in our battle of the brains and all the different areas. So one of the things, how do we know what extremes are? Well, we've kind of talked about this. I mentioned it in class a little bit, that we operate on the normal curve, right? So this curve right here is the normal curve, where we set the mean intelligence score right around 100. And again, today, the Wechsler Intelligence Scale is kind of the standard that we use, the test that we use. So 100 on the Wechsler Intelligence Scale is what the mean would be. And then we use standard deviations, and then we have our range, so that anywhere from 70 to 130 is what we consider in the normal range. Kind of, if you were to be between 130 and 70, you would just be kind of normal intelligence level. Obviously, the closer you get to 130, the more intelligent you are, and the closer you get to 70, that is when we start to get into this intellectual disability area. Okay, so only about 2% of the population is above 130, and about 2% of the population is below 70. Again, if you're in the top two, you have a very high intelligence. If you're in the bottom two, you have what we consider an intellectual disability. Okay, and again, the majority of people are right here on 100, and then we have standard deviations of approximately 15. Two standard deviations to the top, three standard, to the 130 mark, and then two standard deviations to the 70 mark. So again, 70 to 130, okay, is our kind of the normal range. 100 is the mean, or the average. Okay, above 130 is gifted, high intelligence. Below 70 is intellectual disability. Now, what does it mean? What does that mean? Intellectual disability is kind of our new updated mental retardation term that we use, because the word retarded has become kind of a bad word, because it's the playground word, okay, that we've kind of removed that now, and now we call them people who have intellectual disabilities. And when we say this, we're referring to somebody who has an IQ around 70 or below. Okay, they have difficulty with adaptive skills, such as conceptual skills, literacy and calculation, social skills, including making safe social choices, and practical daily living skills, such as hygiene, occupational skills, and using transportation. Now, it kind of works down. When you're at 70 or near 70, it's probably more here. Okay, and as you start to get lower, you start to get into the lower difficulty with adaptive skills. So although some people with high intelligence scores can seem socially delayed or withdrawn, most are intelligent. Now, so this is kind of the other end of the spectrum when we're talking about people with super high scores. Sometimes people with super high intelligence scores also seem to have some oddities about their normal social behavior. However, most are very successful. So for instance, Mark Zuckerberg, who's a highly intelligent man, oftentimes gets referred, he gets commented on his oddities and his social behavior, his lack of people skills, and the way that he dresses, that's not appropriate for this multi-billionaire CEO. However, typically most people are successful. And gifted children, like any children, learn the best with appropriate level of challenge. So people on both ends of the spectrums, high and low, it really is about what is the appropriate level for them. They can all learn, right? Higher end, you're going to learn faster. Lower end, you're going to learn slower. And you need different challenges, you need different things in order to kind of fit in the best there. Where can I go left? Leave up. All right, so again, extremes of intelligence. What's kind of our take-home message with extremes of intelligence? Okay, this normal curve is something that you really need to know. Okay, we're gonna come back to this when we talk about research methods as well. If you can draw out the normal curve and know that like the mean is about 100. Okay, and then just know that we have these two standard deviations off. I think your book gives you a little bit more detailed chart that has some percentages in it. I would take a look at that and make sure that you understand the percentage, like what percent of the population falls between 85 and 75, and then what percent falls between the 70 and 130 as well. All right, next one will be on when we're talking about differences of intelligence. Differences like males and females and culturally.